going to think about, everybody. The first is the global market. Okay. The global market, it's exactly what it sounds like. This global market is quite literally wide trends in luxury real estate and even just in real estate and investments. We want to think across the globe what is happening. Now, when you think about the global market, don't only take it through kind of a microscopic lens of real estate either, because you want to educate yourself kind of about what's happening. Are we hearing certain business trends? Are people moving from this country and moving their business into this country? What's happening and why? Because when you have an understanding of the global market, guess what? Your luxury customer chances are does as well. And so when your luxury customer is educated about the global market and they may be doing business across the globe, well, if that ever comes up in conversation, you want to be able to relate and to connect about that. Because if you don't, if they start to talk about some new development that's happening, and when I say development, I don't just mean like real estate, but a new business opportunity, new business development that's happening out there in Europe, and you're like, I've never heard of that. That's going to kind of misalign or unalign you from them, and that could lose some trust. So you want to be aware of what the heck's happening on a global market perspective. You don't need to know every single piece of data. That's going to be a lot. But what you do want to know is, do I understand how to speak to this? Do I understand the trends? And I'll show you how to start to study these. We'll give specific resources here in a second. The second is, of course, the national market. So if you're like, all right, I'm going to look at the United States and I want to understand the trends in luxury real estate across the United States, that's going to be really beneficial, because a lot of people know people kind of are moving out of California. Maybe they're coming to Texas or Florida. People are kind of moving out of New York, New Jersey. They're probably coming to Florida. Okay, but why? And what else are the kind of pockets or hubs that people are interested in? Why does someone look at an Austin, Texas, and they also look at a Miami, Florida? What's going on there? What's the thought process? And why do they end up choosing Miami, Florida? Why do they end up choosing Palm Beach? What's the idea? So when you understand the trends, think about it now, you're two levels deep. You have a global perspective. Now you're in national. You know kind of where things are moving and why. Think about number three. It's that local market. This is where most people in a residential sense, right, just fix on, which is great because you need to be the local real estate professional, the local market expert. Totally agree. This customer is going to look for more, right? They're going to look for those additional two layers of that national global understanding. But keep in mind, with the local market, we want to think, okay, do I know what's happening specifically, let's say in the state of Florida, kind of broad brushstroke? Okay, how about my county? If I have a listing or I'm trying to connect and win listings in Palm Beach, do I know what's happening in Palm Beach County? Then can I zero in and do I know what's happening on Palm Beach Island? What are the numbers? What are the specific insights? Did a new business just move in from down to this area and have brought a lot of investing, or whatever the case is? You want to be the expert, obviously, and you guys know that. For you do that already, which is why you're on this meeting. But think about this. If you know these three global markets, and I'm going to ask you a question, you can put it in the chat, and you can kind of discuss them pretty comfortably. Obviously, you're going to have a lot more data chance on the local market, the specific market. Luxury prospect or customer about the global market, the national market, the local, a higher chance of connecting with them and adding value than if you only knew about the local market. You just put in a yes or a no. If you know how to speak to and are educated on these three, do you think you have a higher chance of just connecting, adding value, building that trust? Yes, of course, of course. And so someone asked in the chat, I saw it come through, where do we find the resource sheet? It has not been provided yet. I'm going to send it out to you afterwards. So great question. Probably answered that question for a few others as well. And I'm seeing a lot of yeses in the chat box because, guys, luxury is simply a price point. Human beings are human beings. People are people, right? This luxury client may have, different interests and abilities for capital and things like that. But at the end of the day, every single person is going to want to know that you know what you're talking about and you can connect with me. And so let's jump into this a little bit further. And how do we start to study these? So the first thing is when you look at the global market, there's another course that I'm going to provide you in the resource sheet. It's within Luxury Portfolio International, and it's called Luxury 128, the affluent consumer's take on luxury real estate. So now if you think about it, LPI, they gave us that course about understanding luxury's kind of customer's mindset. Now it's getting their take on the luxury real estate market. Now that's going to be really helpful and insightful for you because you're going to understand how they are actually viewing this, right? So this is one of many resources. Again, the resource sheet's got it all listed out. In the 2-day certification course, we'll have even more as well for you. Now the second, and this is a great resource. I'm going to pull it up for you real quick. It's called the demands of the luxury real estate essentially client. And it's the demands of the new affluent generation. And so if you can see my screen here, this is a 16-page PDF, but it's great for you to start to study. Because if we're thinking about global perspective, remember, this is the global market understanding. You look through this really quickly. It's from LPI. Again, we're founding members. It's going to give you amazing insight. This is all and things like that. But what are the key findings from their research? What are the key insights? What are the key implications? What does this have to do? How does this impact that luxury customer? Look at this. It dives deep into the demographics. That's what you need to know. Where are they investing? What's their marital status, education, job title? Who are these people from that standpoint? Then it gets into their key focus points as well, right? What are the prominent trends in the luxury real estate marketplace and for this person as well? Then you come down here, there's a lot of great data, great key takeaways. We're going to reference this sheet a few times throughout the program, and it's definitely one I recommend that you get in and actually study, because you don't need to memorize it. You don't need to have it on a listing presentation, but it's great for you to know how are these buyers and sellers across the world kind of viewing things, and what are the trends. And this is from LPI, which is obviously a very trusted source. So put in helpful in the chat if you feel like these two will be helpful for you on the global market kind of research standpoint. Again, in the 2 days, to go through a lot more options for you there. Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of helpfuls come through. Good, guys. Just want to make sure we're tracking. Now, amazing resource that we have available to you, obviously right now in Kai's Connect, is this Kai's luxury listing presentation. And this has got great information for you. But when we highlight the global market research, I wanted to open up to pages 30 and 31 for you, which is what you can see on the screen here. This will be included in the resource sheet. But what you look at is this is us highlighting leading RE. And what you'll notice, it gives a global perspective for you. Okay, 30 talks about industry leading sales. So this isn't necessarily understanding the psychographics or the demographics of the customer. That's okay, but it's you understanding, wow, we're powerful from a global perspective. So if you look at page 31, it talks about how many visitors on the website of LPI, how many global transactions, 1.2 million, how many sales associates. So again, it's giving you more global information. This is to educate ourselves to go and connect. Okay, we're still in that kind of educating standpoint right now with ourselves. We'll show how this all ties into your customer here in just a minute. Now, if we take a step in and we look at the national market research, another great resource that I want to introduce you to is called Luxury Daily. And this is within LPI. And Luxury Daily, you can see it right here on my screen. This is in Lux Exchange, where you can order different resources. We'll go into all this in a minute here. But Luxury Daily, if you think about it, is essentially a resource for you to be educated on kind of the language of all things luxury. So this is not just real estate, but this is about designers. This is about clothing. This is about architecture. This is about art. This is about all the kind of luxury conversation. And LPI is saying, hey, we want to make sure that you, real estate professional, are educated on this so you can stay updated. So when you do either A, create content to start educating that customer, when you B, are at a networking event or you are introduced to this luxury customer, you know the language. Because we both know that if I went to Italy today, I wouldn't be able to speak that language. There's a little bit of a disconnect. It's the same deal. We want to speak the language of this luxury clientele. And so Luxury Daily, you've got access to it. I'm going to include it in the resource sheet, but this is a great point of knowledge for you to start to understand. You can subscribe to it and it'll send it over to you. It gives great in-depth analysis. They interview top executives, thought leaders in the luxury industry, not just in real estate, but in the industry of luxury, which is going to give you great insight so you know what this person's thinking. Because again, these other CEOs, these other presidents, these other leaders of companies, they've done a lot of research and development on who this customer is and what makes them want to purchase or do some kind of activity in the luxury side of things. So again, the goal there, make you fluent in the language of luxury. So that's our first national market research tool. As we continue in here on the national market side of things, here's a great screenshot that you can grab, okay? But this is just a quick list of 6 really great resources that you can utilize to study the national market from a luxury standpoint. The first is Inman, okay? Now, Inman has a lot of just national market research, which is great. Not always just luxury, but there's a lot of great information there so you can understand the trends. Another is NAR, the National Association of Realtors. There's great information there. The Wall Street Journal, right? You can read some free articles there, of course. You can pay for a subscription, but it gives great insight and you'll be able to see, okay, what's happening in the US in real estate and even just across the board kind of in luxury. The Economist, it's another fantastic source for you as well because it gives that kind of economic standpoint and viewpoint of what is happening, not just in real estate, not just luxury real estate, but across the US from a trend standpoint. What is happening in the economy? What is happening in the marketplace? What's affecting it positively? That's good information for you to know. Bloomberg, of course, another great resource as well for you to understand. And then Forbes, and Forbes Global Property. So when you take time, I'm not saying you need to be involved in all six of these at all the time, but when you take time to start to really understand and start to have a grasp on what's happening in a national market, it's going to just increase your confidence. Because I know for some of you on this meeting right now, one of the biggest concerns you may have is, well, I've never dealt with a luxury client before or customer before. So how do I do it? I don't know enough. Start to educate yourself. And these are great resources and ways in which you can do that. Okay. So these again are all provided for you as research in that resource link. Now, let's jump into local market research. I have to tip my hat to our marketing team. We have a phenomenal marketing team. So please, guys, join me in a round of applause for them. I don't even know if they're on this or not, but if they're not, that's totally fine because I guarantee you they've impacted probably every single one of you. And they create, amongst many other resources that they develop, what's called the Kai's Quarterly Luxury Report. And it's this one right here. And you may have seen this before, which is awesome. But the Kai's Quarterly Luxury Report, we have the Q2 one here. The Q3 is just about to come out. Q4 will obviously come out in January there because all the data will be pulled out by that time. But this is a fantastic resource, and we're going to cover it a few times today in the class, as well as deeper dive in the certification course. But this really gives you amazing insight into kind of what's happening across the counties per quarter. So it's not just like a macro view from the year 2024, like a year in review. This is by quarter. So you get this information. It's relevant. It gives a nice introduction. But if you've never seen this before, just a quick look at it, it's giving you kind of South Florida from a regional perspective. What's going on in single family homes, right? Then it goes into the different counties. So Miami-Dade County, it drills in county specific. So imagine this, if I'm in Miami and I need to know local market research, I come right here. I'm a few pages in this thing. I'm page 6 and 7 right here. I'm saying, okay, cool. Single family homes in 2024 quarter two, 774 sales. Got it. What was the average? What was the sales volume? 2.3 billion. What was the average? 3.85 million. Got it. So I'm equipping myself with the data that I need. So when I go on a listing appointment with this luxury clientele, I know my numbers and I'm equipped. And you think that gives me more of a chance of winning that listing or less of a chance? Always more of a chance. You know that the person who's most prepared, his chances are going to win as long as you're connecting and adding value. So that's an amazing resource. And if you've never checked it out, again, the resource link's going to be there. You can always find this in Kai's Connect. It's dynamite. It's fantastic because it gives you the information you need to go out and win and to go out and educate. And that's where our focus is. Now, of course, another great resource in terms of local market understanding is Florida Realtors, right? You can go on Florida Realtors. You can always learn a lot there. You can always check it out. You can always, thank you, Patricia. I see in the chat. It's right there in the Kai's Connect marketing library. Florida Realtors got great information about what's happening in Florida. And of course, your local board, right? Whatever board you're a member of, you can take classes, take trainings. They're putting out information frequently, and it's very relevant to what they are seeing and what's happening in your local market area. Now, again, you can use any other type of resource that you know of or are comfortable with to research the local market. Great high level kind of sites and platforms and programs that you can jump into right away. So again, if you're like, man, I've only got time for one of them, I would start off, to be honest with you, with this luxury report right here. It's going to give you great information. It's going to equip you with those tools that we talked about earlier to go out from a data standpoint and educate. So local market research, that's that third focus. And now if you think about it, we talked about global, national, and local. So now let's keep moving forward and let's jump into another great tool called New Home Source Professional. This is also on the local side. If you have not ever heard of this, it's a great platform that we have available to us, and it's really focused on new developments and new construction. But what's great about this is it gives you the opportunity, if you can see here on the right-hand side, of really how to learn how to sell and show new homes. And this is linked in here, and it's also in the resource sheet, so I won't take your time to go through it now, but you can find it in Kai's Connect, and you go to their services and like education tab, and it's going to teach you about how to understand who this person is that's looking for their new home and a new development. How do you kind of present the new development? How does that all go? And it's just good information for you. And so They also put out good kind of information and news as well. But New Home Source Professional, great resource there. It's all linked for you as well. Okay, so we jumped into this. I won't go back in already. I was passionate about it earlier, so we jumped into here on page 5. You can see for that local market understanding. Just such a great page because it gives you that relevant information that you need to go out and educate. Now, as we continue on, Luxury Portfolio International, okay, LPI, they've got a lot of resources, a lot of content. Now I'm going to stop here in a quick sidebar. You can see we're 47 minutes into this thing. There's a lot of information and a lot of resources available to you right now. And what I don't want you thinking is, man, he told us that we've got so much. I need to get involved in every single one of these. No, you don't, because you may overwhelm yourself if you do that. You may add what I call artificial stress to yourself, where just like, man, do I even have time to go out and do the things that I'm learning here? That's what we want you to do, right? We want you to go out and do. So pick one of them. If it's like, I'm going to start with that Kai's quarterly luxury report, and that's going to be kind of my information gathering for a local market perspective, perfect. Stick with that. Go out, go call, go farm, utilize the information, post on social media, start to see what that engagement gives you. Then you can maybe pick up another resource for information. But there's a lot. But that's what we pride ourselves on here at the Kai's Companies, making sure that you are never at a loss of education, because we don't want you just simply educating. We want you to learn and apply. So hopefully today we'll kind of kick that back into gear from a luxury standpoint for you. And again, the certification courses will go much deeper into these things. But as you can see, I won't bore you with all the details. Even within LPI, there's just a list of amazing resources that are available too. You can see here, Luxury Daily. We already jumped into that a little bit earlier on the national market side, but there's economic insights from LPI. There's that demands of a new affluent generation that we already talked about as well. All these different resources, which are just fantastic for you. A lot of them free, some of them are paid. We'll get into all that here as well. Now, this is a tool. If you're taking notes of the tools, this is an LPI tool I would absolutely start to utilize this week. If not today, but this week, okay? It's the LPI magazine gift subscriptions. What the heck does that mean, Steve? That means that there are these beautiful magazines that Luxury Portfolio creates, and you can subscribe each year 10 prospects, customers, whoever, 10 people to receive a complimentary subscription to this for the entire year. And if you want to sign up other people, it's just an additional $5, okay? But I'm going to give you the direct link in that resource sheet, so we'll get into that, but it's very easy. And the whole goal here is, imagine this. If you had a nice conversation, networking event, you know this person's probably in that kind of a luxury area, and all of a sudden they start to receive a free magazine from you. And this is not low quality. This is beautiful, high quality. If you've ever seen them in your offices, they're always in the offices. Pick one up next time. Flip through it and think, man, I could literally send this for free to 10 customers, prospects, whoever, every single year, and only pay $5 for every additional person I want to add. This is a no-brainer, because if you just stick to that 10, don't pay anything for it, but imagine the value that that prospect, that customer is going to receive from you. And what is this doing? Two things. It's differentiating you, because that's what everybody's looking for today. Who's the professional that is kind of different, not just the same thing I'm expecting, right? And what this does as well is it adds tremendous value, and it keeps you right in front of that person. So think about this one, guys. It's really, really a great tool. Yes, Dolores, there's a recording of this meeting. And then Patrizia said, it's the cheapest luxury marketing tool. I love that, Patrizia. It's exactly right. It's free 99. It's free, right? Unless you, of course, add more. But really a fantastic, fantastic tool for you here. Now, let's jump into this as well. How else can I educate myself about the local market or kind of what's happening? And, you know, Steve, we're talking about luxury, but I want to see what's happening in the marketplace now. Before spending $1 on anything, guys, you can go to new development tours and you can start to check it out and say, okay, how do developers kind of present their materials? How do they kind of position things? And make sure, of course, that this new development is kind of in that luxury space. So they're going to put on an amazing experience. That's their whole goal of kind of their showroom. And so pay attention to everything from the time you arrive. How do people greet you at the front desk? How do you check in? What's the process like when you go on the actual tour? What are they featuring? What are they highlighting? What are the amenities? What are the design aspects? Because all of that is information for you. So you know, okay, when I go on these listing appointments, or when I do win the listing and I'm doing showings, I kind of feel this groove of how these things are presented. And you're not overwhelming people. You're just learning. You're going to really get that luxury feel. Another great strategy you can do, again, just takes your time. But if you want to be in this business and the side of luxury, it's going to take time. And you guys all know this from just being in real estate, but attend broker open houses that are in the luxury space And again, okay, you've seen maybe how some developers are doing it. How are real estate professionals doing this? How do they present this property? So what's the marketing on the front end? What is that looking like, feeling like? Where are the pictures? What are the Then when you actually arrive, what is that experience? That's all called pre-service, right? Pre-service. All happened before any anything has been exchanged. All the experience before someone actually experiences you. When you walk in the property, how does it smell? How does it look? What are the lights? What's the setup? What's the feel of it? How does that person kind of approach you? Now it's a broker open house, so they know that you're a broker or a real estate professional. It might be different than it's just like a general open house, but still, go and feel that experience. Get a feel of it. Be immersed in this world, because if we simply read things about it, if we simply get the data on it, that's good, but it's not as effective as it could be, because we want to know what it feels like to be in these places. So go and immerse yourself in these experiences and study their luxury presentation materials, study the way they're presenting things. Because when you go to actually do it yourself as well, you'll have done a lot of that research and development. So it's just important, really helpful for you as well. All right. Now, we're shifting into actually knowing our luxury customer. And everybody, we're about an hour into this thing, okay? Just give me a yes or a no, or put yes or put asleep. Yes is if you're enjoying this so far. Asleep is if you've already fallen asleep. Just put yes or asleep, because now we're about to take all kind of the mindset, the psychographics, the understanding. We're about to transfer it into actual items. Okay, hey, I haven't seen an asleep yet. That's good. And if you are asleep, don't tell us. Just, I guess, stay asleep. Max, you're the only one who can be asleep. So know your luxury customer, guys. This is where it's about to get a lot of fun. Okay, this is where it's about to get pretty cool. So if you think about it, if we try to talk to everybody the same way, we're not going to connect with anybody. I'll say it again, and this is a marketing principle. If you try to talk to everybody, you're going to connect with nobody. Okay, so we need to understand in the luxury marketplace, kind of from a broad perspective, what are kind of the different types of clientele? Because a luxury clientele who's going to purchase a $2.5 million property could be someone a little bit different in their maybe age, experience, capital than someone who's going to buy a $50 million property. Would you agree or disagree? I think we probably all agree. And that's great. Nothing wrong with either one. We just need to know who are we dealing with and what are their interests. And so here's kind of the three core demographic or client profiles, customer profiles that we're going to kind of look through the lens of today. The first right here is this gentleman, right? Now, we've got a fun name. We've got a fun name for this kind of this demographic here. This is what I call the new money millennial, the new money millionaire, okay? It's new. So they're probably younger. It's a younger demographic, and we'll get into this a little bit further here in a second. But you may all know kind of this person, like, oh yeah, I've got a friend who's just like this or that, and that's good. We want to understand, okay, who is this person? What are they interested in? Okay. We'll get into this new money millionaire here much further, but this is kind of client profile 1, okay? Client profile 2 is this right here, the seasoned CEO, the seasoned CEO, okay? She or he is a little bit older, right? Kind of midlife in an area, mid-career, but they're crushing it. And they might have a little bit of different interest when it comes to purchasing real estate than that first profile that we looked at, right? Now, the third one here, this is what I call the billionaire boomer. Okay, this is our billionaire boomer. All right. So this gentleman could be anybody, right? Is a little bit older in that kind of boomer age, and they might have a little bit of different investing patterns and kind of where they spend their time. And the reason that we want to understand the new money millionaire, the seasoned CEO, and the billionaire boomer is so we know, okay, well, where do these people spend their time? What are they spending their money on? What matters to them? Because I think, I could be wrong, tell me I'm crazy, but this new money millionaire and the seasoned CEO and the billionaire boomer, they all probably have their own preferences, their own differences, their own interests, right? I would say that's probably accurate. So we want to understand who are we talking to so that way we can actually connect. Because think about it, if our marketing message is the same to all three of these, we're probably going to fall on deaf ears. We're probably not going to connect in the way that we deserve to. So let's jump into them a little bit further, okay? So the first here is our new money millionaire, right? This gentleman here, just as a quick example. So you guys tell me, and we're going to kind of go over this in a second, but this is the new money millionaire image. Now, keep in mind, we're just understanding from a broad brushstroke, maybe some interest of this person. It's not an exact science, but it's just to kind of help us break it out. So you can see we have an Equinox clothes at Gucci, at Louis Vuitton, at Bulgari, at all these different kind of high-end vendors. Why? Because status to them really matters. They want people to be able to see them and know or have that perception that, oh, they've got money and they're successful. And again, this is not to say for all leisure. So maybe They're the people that are renting a yacht and bringing their friends, bringing their business colleagues, bringing their family on the yacht, kind of doing that tour of Miami, or if it's in Palm Beach, wherever. This is not just Miami specific, of course. But with that being said, they're fine spending on those kinds of experiences. They want to have an experience. They want people to see that I'm successful, I've worked hard for this, and I'm young. And cool, to each their own, right? So maybe think of this as kind of that millennial, that 25 to 35, that younger kind of professional, that person. And think about it. The way that we're going to market to this person, the way we're going to connect, the places in which we're going to connect with them are going to be different than the other two profiles. So just put in new money if that's tracking so far. Just put, and maybe you guys are like, oh man, I know exactly who this is. I can track exactly who this person is. Cool. All right. So see a lot of new monies come in. So I just want to make sure we're all together before I keep moving on. Now, the next one here is our seasoned CEO. Seasoned CEO. So if the new money millionaire was maybe 25 to 35, this seasoned CEO, maybe she or he is 35 to 50 or 55, whatever the case is, but they're seasoned. What does that mean? They have experience. They have time. And you'll notice from this background, if you think about the new money millionaire, he was in front of a Lamborghini kind of outdoors, right? So maybe he doesn't want to be tied down to an office. Maybe he wants to have kind of that remote, nomadic, quote unquote, successful lifestyle. And that's cool. This seasoned CEO probably spends a lot of time in their professional building, their professional place of work, doing business, handling problems, thinking about new strategies and building things. And so we want to know, okay, if that's where this person spends some time, does location to that professional workplace matter? You bet it does. And so we want to think, okay, cool. So where does she or he start off their day? Maybe it's more like a Lifetime Fitness, right? Beautiful, again, very high end, very nice, very clean, very safe. It's not cheap, but a lot of times, again, if there's value, that investment is fine. So they want to make sure that also maybe they have a family. Okay. If they have a family, if I'm going to exercise, can my kids go in the pool? Are there other activities there? Right. So it's not the Equinox gym where it's modern, kind of flashy, really boutique and nice. It's the Lifetime Fitness, still very elegant, very high end, very beautiful, but it's more all encompassing for the family and other activities. Right. Now, where does this person want to spend their kind of time? If you think back to the new money millionaire, it was at like Brickell City Center, the design district, these beautiful places. Maybe for this seasoned CEO, it's a beautiful resort. It's a place like Aquilina here. It could be a Turnberry on the Green. It could be the Breakers. It could be the Colony Hotel. It could be all these places where, again, I can go. I know it's not going to be cheap, but I'm not looking for it to be cheap. I'm looking for it to be a beautiful experience for my family and I. And so they may be more willing to spend a higher price to go and spend a place like a beautiful beachfront resort where their kids are going to have activities, the spouse and them, maybe it's something nice on the beach, whatever the case is, but it's a different location, it's a different price point, and they're okay with that, right? Now, the third, let's say if this seasoned CEO, if she has any free time, right? Because anybody knows being very busy as a professional and being a parent, that time window just gets smaller and smaller and smaller, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that here on this meeting. And so if, let's say she does have some time to get away, maybe she'd go into a beautiful spa, a beautiful place like this, just to kind of unplug and to kind of relax. And again, not expecting for this to be cheap or inexpensive is fine paying a premium as long as the value surpasses that premium. Now, why the heck are we doing this again? To understand where are they spending their time? What do they care about? So when we do actually connect to them, we know what to connect about. We know kind of a little bit about them almost already, not in a personal sense, but in a general sense. Okay. Now, put in seasoned in the chat. If this is making sense so far, put in seasoned. Jody Richardson said Boca baby. Yep, that is the Lifetime Fitness in Boca. Very, very nice. Awesome. All right. Now let's jump in. I'm seeing a lot of seasoned come through. Let's jump in here to our last kind of understanding. This is our billionaire boomer. Okay. The boomers were born pretty much after World War II, right? In that kind of that time window, that time frame. And so they at this point might be a little bit older, right? A little more seasoned than the seasoned CEO. So they could be, let's say 55 to 80, 85. Maybe some people say, hey, that's 60 or 65 to 80, 85. That's cool. But it's a little bit in that kind of the golden years, right? So with that being said, this billionaire boomer probably has the personal trainer coming to their own house. At this point is enjoying every single moment of every day because they've done it. They've done it, right? So they don't feel necessarily, and some might, but the majority probably don't feel like I have to be in an office, feel like I have to be handling emails all day. So I want to do what makes sense for me. So I'm gonna have a personal trainer come to the house. They probably spend a lot of their time golfing if they're here in Florida, right? Enjoying this lifestyle because they feel like they deserve it. They've worked really hard. They can spend 2, 3, 4 hours on a course. They're probably part of these beautiful high-end courses. And again, in the certification program that we have coming out here, we'll go into really specific areas as to where you can kind of connect with and kind of mix and mingle with these people. Now, the last one here is where are they spending their time for recreation? It might not be on the yacht in terms of, oh, I rented the yacht. They probably own this yacht. And you can see the Mediterranean. We got Italy behind them here. So they probably have beautiful assets like this. And that might be where they spend their time. I'm not saying you need to go buy a yacht in order to connect with them, but I'm saying let's start to know where they're thinking and what they do. Because when you can align and connect much faster. So this billionaire boomer, a little bit older, but they're spending their time in kind of key areas like this. They're all focused on probably longevity and caring. And that's the whole focus here. So just put in billionaire in the chat, please, if this connects. And now we've kind of gone through the new money millionaire, the seasoned CEO, the billionaire boomer. Great, Steve. Now I know who my customers are. How the heck do I start to connect to them? Great question. That's what we're going to jump into now. Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of billionaire. Hey, and if you put billionaire in there, you can be a billionaire. Anybody, right? Anybody can be a billionaire. Don't limit yourself. At least for this meeting, do not limit yourself because you might be looking at the same man. Who's going to own a yacht this size? That could be a limiting belief. Maybe you don't want to, and that's fine. But let's make sure we're opening up our mind as big as we can for these conversations so we know how to connect. All right, everybody. Now, you know yourself. You start to know this customer, right? You start to know the markets. Okay, good. We're making some progress here. We're chugging along. Now, let's talk about that branding. Because think about it. Before you even connect with someone, they might find you online. They could find you on social media. They could find you on your website. They could find you on Google, anywhere. But you now know what this person is looking for and kind of what matters to them. And so we want to make sure that our luxury branding, it's congruent, it's on point. And the way we do that is breaking it down into bite-sized pieces. The first, and I'm going to a social media class here, but the first is looking at our social media profile. So take a note of this, guys. Think about, okay, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, if you have X or TikTok or Twitter or any of these things. First thing, what's your image? What's your professional image there, right? If it's a picture of me from 10 years ago and it's bad lighting, it doesn't look professional, that's probably not what I want. Because if this person sees me in that light, I'm kind of making it harder for myself, right? How about my username on these profiles, right? If I have Steve Merrill Soccer 1977, because when I was 10 years ago, when I created my accounts, that's what I wrote about because that's what I cared about, whatever the case is, that's probably not super relevant to who I am as a business professional now. I should probably update that, right? So think about this with your own profiles. The next one here is number 3, value providing content. If I take an honest assessment at your social media accounts right now, at my own social media accounts right now, I need to ask myself, am I learning anything from this? Is there value in the content? Because if there's not, that's probably not what this person's looking for. They want to know that you know your stuff. So that's why if you think about it, when 3 markets, the global, the national, the local market, and all those resources, the data points, if you start to study that, that's going to be always kind of in your thought process. You're going to have that at the tip of your tongue. Film some content about that. Educate. Show that you know what you're talking about, right? And then recent activity, number 4. This is so important because recent activity shows that my last post wasn't in 2020. Okay, if it was, this person is going to have some maybe a trust issue out of the gate. Think, why haven't you, right? Especially if it's like that new money millionaire, the seasoned CEO, the billionaire boomer, they may not care, right? But the millionaire might be thinking, I'm on this all the time. I actually promote and like every day. Why is this person not posted in 4 years? Maybe they've lost my trust. You want to be relevant. You want to be upfront. So think about those 4 with your social media. The next one here that we're going to jump into is your website. Your website, guys, this is key. This is your Kai's website, okay? If you look at this funnel, what we want to think about is, 1, do we have luxury information on our website? Because if this billionaire boomer, let's say, is doing some research and they don't even know about us yet, but they're searching properties in Palm Beach, are they kind of able to find those properties and maybe it directs them back to our website? There's ways to do that. But do we have any of that luxury information? Do we have any luxury listings presented on our website? Because if we don't, we're really negating or making it harder for that person to find us. How about testimonials? Testimonials. Do we have testimonials on our website? Are they easy to find? And you might hear me say that and say, Steve, I thought this program is to kind of luxury. I don't have any luxury testimonials yet. No worries. No worries at all. If you have done business and you have a testimonial of any kind, with someone speaking about your work ethic, your professionalism, your character in doing business, that's what people care about. It could be a $250,000 property, it could be a $25 million property. I want to know is, are you professional? Do you know what you're talking about? Will you be able to take care of me? That's it. So make sure you've got testimonials that are easy to find. Consistency, right? What does that mean? Okay. We're thinking about social media. We're thinking about your website. Maybe they went to your social media profiles first. They clicked on the link in your bio. Now they're on your website. Does your website feel consistent with what you're looking at and kind of what you're trying to present here? If not, we've got an issue. The last one is connection. Is it easy, first of all, to get connected with you? Second of all, does it seem like you can connect with this person? Does it feel kind of personalized? Does it feel like you know what you're doing? Because if not, it's going to be an issue. And you can see here, we have the website manager link, and I'm going to pull it up for you. And you're going to be looking at My Kai's Connect. So the same kind of strategies and thought processes apply here. And again, quick sidebar. If you're looking at the screen, you're like, Steve, oh gosh, Kai's Connect, man, I'm not a computer person. That's okay. You have your concierge. They are the best in the business. They will be able to help you with this. So don't sweat it. Just get connected with them. But anyways, if you come down here, look at this. If you scroll down, I want to make sure. Okay, first of all, does my URL look correct? Our tech team does a fantastic job of this. And what's so cool is when you join Kai's, you get your own website, your own URL. And you may not understand the power of that, but that's not typical, guys. I literally have stephenmerrill.kais.com. My first name, my last name, the company name.com. That's a great URL. If you want to talk about SEO, if you want to talk about searchability, that's great. Hey, type in my name and type in the word Kai's. You're going to find this website. That's strong. You have the same thing. So that's great. But now let's look at this. If I look at my website photo, I can tell you right now, this picture was taken in 2020. That example I gave you earlier. That slightly different hairstyle, right? There's no tie on in this picture. What was I doing? What was I thinking? But if you think about it, I want to make sure that I update this thing. So that way, when that luxury customer looks at my website, they're seeing what myself is now. Okay. And so if you have a website photo that's maybe outdated, maybe it's not your most professional or kind of luxury focused picture, now is the time to start to update that. If you don't have a picture at all, please get a picture in there. And we're going to dive into this a little bit further. But think about it. Make sure your phone number is correct. Make sure your name is spelled correctly. These are very basic things. I'm not asking you to go in and recode your website, but these are all things your concierge can absolutely help you with. And this is critical because, again, if we come back to this, everything that happens in a pre-service stage, it's all about building trust. And so, again, you want to make sure that, okay, is my website optimized? Does it feel congruent? Okay. Now, the next thing here is Forbes. Okay. So this is still in that kind of online world. We have a partnership with Forbes Global Properties. It's extremely, extremely strong. And it's a great, great partnership to leverage and to utilize if you know how to do it. And so let's jump into this here. What we're going to talk about is this member portal. So again, we're looking at our social media profiles, our website. Now we're looking at Forbes, okay? So I want to think about and go through these same key points. Do I have a professional image? Do I have a professional bio? Guys, this is so important. I'm going to use mine as an example. I'm going to be hard on myself here because you may have the same exact thing. Is my website linked? So is my Kai's website linked on my Forbes Global Properties page so that way they're backlinked and this person can easily find me, right? And do I have linked social media accounts? So let's jump into this here. And you can see I hyperlinked this in. I clicked on it. Man, it's not a single sign-on, but it is. So here's how in Kai's Connect, how you find Forbes Global Properties, okay? You come to your main page, because maybe for somebody you've never heard of this. Come to your main page on Kai's Connect, come to Company Cloud on the top right, click on Company Cloud, come on down, everything's alphabetically ordered, which is a blessing, okay? So come down here, find the F, Forbes Global Properties, perfect. You click on it here, it will load you in automatically as a single sign-on into your portal, your profile. And guys, if you've never been here, we're gonna jump into this a little bit further today. We're gonna go deep into this during the 2-day certification course. You can see it says member portal, dashboard, support and guides. This is essentially the behind the curtains that you have into Forbes Global Properties to say, here's all the resources I can use to leverage. Here's all the branding, the marketing. What's pretty cool is they break it out in a really bite-sized way. You can see where I highlighted the first kind of headline is this week's action items. It's literally trying to tell you, like, do these things or pay attention to these things this week. Then you come down, how to navigate our services, right? Editorial opportunities, we'll talk about that. Marketing opportunities, all this stuff is right here. And then you can start to kind of keep going. But anyways, we won't go too far down that area. We're talking about our portal and our profile. You can see on the top right, there I am, still that outdated photo. So in order to edit or update your profile, guys, simply click on your own image. Once you've gone in through Kai's Connect, it's going to bring you right here. Click on your image and check it out. It's a pretty straightforward page. What you're going to want to look at is my first name. Hopefully that's spelled correctly. My last name. Hopefully that's spelled correctly. What is my full name? Okay, cool. That's there. What's your title? Okay, so this is my title here. My email. Is my email accurate? Now, let's keep going straight down. This one's great about Forbes. You can see this is me from 2020. I need to update this picture. It's not updated because Forbes is pulling the image from your Kai's Connect page. So that's the same one that you saw over there. I want to update this thing. What's nice is if you utilize like Canva or anything like that, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what are the dimensions, the pixels, the size that it needs to be? Forbes is trying to make it really easy for you. It says it must be at least 600 by 600 chance on pixels and cropped square. It's easy. If you're like, you spoke a different language there. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all good. Talk to your concierge. We've got you covered. But update this. Make sure it's a reflection of who you are today as a professional. Now, let's go back up a little bit. Okay, so status is published. Okay, so they took care of that. Member. Now, my website. Make sure, everybody, that your website is linked in here. Make sure your phone number is correct. Your phone, your mobile. License number, I don't have it in there. You can put it if you'd like. Location. Okay, I would put in a location here. Okay, so what office are you based out of? What's your farming area? You know, you can use office as a kind of quick start. It'll definitely help you. But guys, this is critical right here. This is absolutely key. This description. Look at my description. If you look here, what I highlighted, this little kind of P, that's just for like coding stuff. And so you don't have to worry about that. I didn't type that. It says, since 1926, our Kai's realtors have skillfully, etc. If you've never been into your Forbes Global Properties profile and you've never updated it, I can almost guarantee you yours says the exact same description that I have right here. Does that help differentiate you? No. It's a really nicely written paragraph about the Kai's company and longevity and things, but I want to know about you. So please make sure that you take time to go in and you update your description in your Forbes Global Properties profile. Now you'll notice here, if you're like, man, Steve, that's going to take me about a day to do. It's going to take way too much time. I don't know what to say. I have a hard time writing about myself. You know, whatever the case may be, that's fine. You can use your old friend, ChatGPT. And what I would do is I would highlight all of this. I would highlight all this. Why? Because it's written in a format with these P's here and this here. This is coding. This is essentially like spaces and how to make a new paragraph when it goes on your actual profile. So you want to keep the same format. But what I would do, I would highlight all of this. I would go to ChatGPT and I would type in, I'd say I'm a luxury real estate professional in South Florida. And, you know, this is a general kind of description of the company and the services. Please make this more personal for me. Now you're going to want to tell ChatGPT kind of like, what do you specialize in terms of luxury? Where are you focused in terms of business? What's unique about you? All those things. And ask ChatGPT to keep the same format, because that just means it'll keep like the spaces and the correct way that this is written. Put in ChatGPT, ask it again to write a more personal description for you, make it about X, Y, and Z, keep the same format. You click enter on ChatGPT within 8 seconds, guys. I tested this yesterday. Promise you I did. You will have a brand new description written about you personally. That's what you want to do. You can always update it later. You can always change it. But the fact that you'll have it in here is what your customers are looking for. Because if I come to your description and it's just about the Kai's company, I mean, okay, I get it, but I want to know about you. And again, you can see this is mine. You probably have the exact same one. That does not differentiate you. I want you to be differentiated, and your story is your strength. So utilize your background, utilize your previous experience, even if you're brand new in real estate, totally fine. Leverage that in here. All right, you guys get the point. So as we come down here, your address, you don't have to put in your home address. Please don't. Put in your office address, right? Then your city, that'll be the city where your license is hung, date, all these different things, keywords. These are put in terms of like searchability. And then from there, you could go in and make sure your social media profiles are linked in here. You can see you have a LinkedIn URL right there, a Facebook URL, Instagram URL, Twitter URL. Put those in, because it's going to tag all of them and it's going to code them into your Forbes Global Properties portal. Okay. So again, a little bit of a long description there, but it's really important. It's really important that you have this up to date. It's relevant, because if not, you're going to break that congruency. You're going to break that consistency. If I go from your Kai's website Like these people know what Forbes is, and that feels totally national profile, okay, your LPI profile. It's the same basic principles, everybody. It is your professional image, your professional bio, your website linked, you have your phone number there. I'm going to try to bring us straight into it, but just for the sake of time, if this does not load, which I think it should here, you'll see it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so this, everybody, is within what they call Lux Exchange. This is LPI. You can find this in the company cloud on Kai's Connect. I said a lot of things there. You can always ask for concierge. It's really easy to find. It'll log you in automatically, okay? Once you're here, this is LPI. This is Luxury Portfolio International. I've been referring to different resources throughout the program. This is, again, the behind the curtains. It's your profile. So what you want to come to on the left-hand side is you're going to see there's a lot of different options. Just come to my profile, right? When you come to my profile, what you'll see is exactly that. And this is pretty straightforward, okay? It has on the left-hand side the tabs. So you have your details tab. It's standard information, your first name, last name. If you want to put your middle, you can. Your office, so where you are. If you're in the Boca office, the Fort Lauderdale office, the Port St. Lucie office, it'll have that info here. Your MLS ID. Look at this, guys. I don't have anything for my agent profile. That's not good. I could take the exact agent profile. I just had Forbes right or had ChatGPT right, and I put it into Forbes. I could copy it, paste it right here. Now you can remove like those little parentheses with the P because it's a different format, but simply put something here that is personalized about you. Because right now I've got nothing. So right now, if that customer's searching me and they're coming onto my LPI site, I'm not presenting myself in the best way possible, and I want you to be presented in the best way possible. So go ahead and do that. Update your profile here. Click Save and Edit this item. What you'll also notice on these tabs again, the contact info. It's preloaded. It should be pretty accurate, but just double check. So I would probably take this, get rid of this.
Oh, you love that.
Not my office phone. That's my mobile phone.
That.
So I'm going to do that. And then from there, we're going to come over, make sure my website is linked, right? My Kai's website is linked correctly. Save and edit. Communication, that's just kind of the way that it's set up for prospects or people, properties if I have them. And then look at this, my member photo. The other one in the two other profiles from 2020, this guy, I don't even have a photo. That's an issue. I got to update my photo. You just simply click here, you add your photo in. So please think about this when it comes to that consistency, when it comes to your branding, because that's what this is. And branding is critically important. I need to make sure, first of all, what do my social media profiles look like? Correct usernames, professional image. Everything feels updated, feels relevant. Got it. How about my Kai's website? Does my image look good there? Is it updated? Is it reflecting my professional status today? How about my Forbes Global Properties member portal? Does that have a good description in there? Does it have my updated image? How about my luxury portfolio profile? That might sound like a lot, but this won't take you long. Once you have that image and you have the description written, you're just plugging them in. But take the 10 minutes and do this for yourself. This is for your business's success. This is extremely important because, again, that pre-service experience. If I've seen you online, but all of a sudden it feels kind of weird that something's off, probably not going to want to connect with you. So make sure that you're not making it harder for your ideal customer to actually connect. All right, the last kind of thing here, as we go on further into the tools and the strategies of the online reviews. So testimonial tree, if you've never used it, it's a great resource. I won't walk through it, just takes a little bit of time. But essentially, it's to get testimonials from customers and people who've done business with you. You can find it in Kai's Connect. It's under the single sign-on. And you literally can click on the little button on the left-hand side. It says, get testimonial. And it asks, do you want to send the testimonial request by phone or email? And it even gives the person like a little bit of a draft testimonial. Like, hey, if you're not sure how to start writing a testimonial, here's what to say. It's fantastic. Because we want to make sure that you have reviews, you have testimonials. And if you're brand new to business, again, that's fine. That's okay. You may not have them yet, but you will. And so with those that are experienced, get these testimonials, utilize testimonial tree. Make sure if you have a Google My Business account, that's also updated, it's relevant. That will really help you, okay? Now, just kind of a 30,000 foot view here. We all know this. Take this to heart. Competence builds confidence. I'm going to say it again. Competence builds confidence. If I feel like you're competent in your luxury real estate business and what you're doing, all that competent means is you know what you're doing, right? You have a knowledge and understanding of it. That's going to give me some more confidence in you and potentially your abilities. Just because you have a great social media profile, website, doesn't mean I'm going to sign on with you as my listing agent, but it gives me a higher likelihood of doing so. You're going to seal that deal. And that's the best part for you is being in person. But keep in mind, you want to make sure across these platforms, these profiles from your website to Instagram, Facebook, your Forbes member portal, your luxury portfolio international profile, your Google My Business, your website, everything feels congruent and consistent. And if you're hearing me say this and you've got a pit in your stomach saying, holy cow, I've got some work to do, don't overthink this. Take it one step at a time. Get with your concierge, say, hey, I got to make sure my profiles are updated. What the heck do I do? Okay. And you start chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. Do it now, get it done, set a goal for yourself to have this done by the end of the day today, by the end of the day tomorrow, and then it's done. It's done. You can focus on what really matters. And so again, this is important. Now, everybody, let's jump into another really important aspect. And you can see this is all gearing into actually connecting with these ideal luxury customers. Your luxury look. Your luxury look is critically important. Why? Because everybody is analyzing people, and that's because our brain is conditioned to keep us safe. So this is not a personal decision. Right? This is our brain saying, do I feel safe around this person or not? And so if we make it modern and we think about our luxury clientele or the luxury prospect, immediately when you meet them at the networking event, at the coffee shop, at the different place, and again, in that certification course, we give you a whole list of places to kind of find these people and connect. That's going to be their themselves seriously too. So we want to think, and remember, first impressions matter. We want to dress the part. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy a brand new wardrobe, but I'm saying you want to present yourself. You are your brand. So everywhere that you're going, think about that, because everywhere there's opportunity. But if I showed up to this meeting today and I got like a ripped t-shirt on and I'm just like not prepared at all, hair's all disheveled, you might be like, he's going to talk to us about luxury? I'll give him a chance, but he's going to talk. Okay. So, and if you know me, this is how I always dress. People even ask me if I like go to the gym in a suit. I do say that I do, but I actually don't. But it's how you want to represent yourself. You are your brand. And if you have a team, your team is your brand. Every single person representing you is your brand. You are the Kai's company. You're representing the Kai's company as well. So think about that. You want to be confident. That's not arrogance. That's not ego. Being confident is knowing that you have taken the time to research those markets, to do all that kind of front end work. So that way you're comfortable. You want to make this person comfortable as well. And so again, you want to know, okay, what is my luxury look? Have I set standards for myself? Do I kind of know what that looks and feels like? Okay. That's not to say that this luxury customer is going to always be dressed up to the nines. It's not to say that, right? They might look like the most unassuming person, and it could be worth $1 billion. They could have ripped jeans and a shirt with some paint on it. Doesn't matter. That's them. You need to show up and say, I'm the professional that's going to service you. Okay. So be aware of this. This is really, really important, right? Now, the next one here that we're going to jump into is continued on your luxury look. Just some questions that we want to kind of be able to answer. You don't need to answer them now, right? But the first is, does it feel like you've been here before? If you're talking to one of those client profiles, anybody, does it feel like you've been here? If you've done that research and you've prepared, it should, right? You don't have to have actually been here before. It could be your first connection at this level, but does it kind of feel like it? Can you kind of talk that talk and connect with me? Number two, does it feel like you've worked with this level of customer? You don't want them talking about their Rolls Royce that they just got at Holman Motor Cars in Fort Lauderdale for $529,000 and hearing you gasp and say, oh my gosh, you paid that much? Oh, because all of a sudden, maybe you haven't worked with this person before. They're going to feel uncomfortable, right? You don't need to pretend, but you just need to be comfortable, okay? Number three, does it feel like they can connect with you? Sometimes what happens, especially in Florida, think about it, a lot of celebrities, a lot of highly like publicized people move to Florida. Are they going to kind of feel like you're starstruck? Are they going to kind of be off put by it? Or do they feel like they can connect and just talk about normal things? Always think about Ford: family, occupation, recreation, dreams, desires. You can use that tool anywhere. Think about it. It makes things comfortable. Okay. Number five, do you remain professional with every customer, regardless of that level of fame? So let's say that I love the New York Yankees, right? And I love it. And Aaron Judge and I connect. He's a really famous baseball player with the Yankees right now, right? Let's say the World Series is done. He and I connect. He wants to move down to Florida. If I'm like, oh my gosh, can I get an autograph? And how is the World Series and all this stuff? If I'm talking like that, yeah, it might not be super professional. He may not want that with someone who he's going to be having conversations with all the time, helping him make a large investment or whatever the case is. So just remain professional. It might be really exciting for you. You might think this is amazing, and that's great. But you don't want to be like over the top jovial, because that could put this person off, right? Now, again, kind of just the thing to marinate with us and to think about is this question at the bottom is when a customer at any level feels comfortable with you, they will want to do business with you. And we want to think, am I making them comfortable? It's all about comfort. It's all about making people comfortable. And you can do that with your professionalism, with your expertise, with your knowledge, and also just being a person. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about our value proposition. Okay. In the 2-day certification course, we have more time. So we go through actually building your value proposition. But if you think about what we started this conversation with today, we need to know that we are valuable. If we don't, and that might sound funny to some of you because it has to me before, to be honest with you, but it can't. You have to know you're valuable. You have to know that you provide tremendous value in all that you do. Because when you do, you're going to give confidence. And one great way to do that is to utilize, again, the Kai's luxury listing presentation. And the reason I've highlighted this page here for us is it gives a nice overview of a lot of the transactions and some of the deals that we as a company have done. That can help give you confidence. That can give you that support that you're looking for when it comes time to actually connect it. Now, we won't have time to go through this video here today, but when it comes down to you knowing your value, it's in the resource sheet that I'm going to send out. There's a great brand video from Forbes Global Properties, and you can see a screenshot of it here. But it's a fantastic video, and it's 2 minutes long, so take time today to go over it. But it's them educating about the power and the leverage and the opportunity of Forbes Global Properties and how we are an exclusive member of that. And so watch this video. Because when it comes down to you knowing your value, this is a huge part of that value in a professional sense and setting, because Forbes is not the common name. Everybody knows it, but it's still very unique. Oh, Forbes, wow, that's trusted, that's solid, that is here. I can depend on Forbes. We're partnered with them, Forbes Global Property. So it's a huge benefit that we have here as well, okay? Now, as we continue on to you knowing your value, this is something that a lot of our top producers, they absolutely love. It's called Lolo. And it's a tool that we have. You can find it in Kai's Connect. But think about this. It's essentially a great way to add value kind of out of the blue to prospects or customers. You can add in customers to this. And LOLO stands for local supporting local. And what that means is it's local companies who will gift your customer, your prospect, whoever you sign up to this, an item of value. It could be something to go on like a little kayaking adventure or like a free meal at this local business. And what's cool about that, and we've heard this from top producers who are in the luxury space, they're like, my customers absolutely love this because it keeps me top of mind and it's also value and it's unique to them. Someone talked about one of their customers driving a half an hour, and this is someone spent millions of dollars on a property, half an hour to get a sub sandwich because they received a Lolo from this agent, and they called them up after, like, man, that was the best sub I ever had. So again, if you're giving value, if you're connecting, you're stacking that value that you have. And here's just a quick example of like a Kai's value proposition that I wrote for the luxury space. Again, for the sake of time, I won't read it all to you right now, but it's in the resource tab for you. But just think about it. I got to start to build my my value proposition, because when I do, I'm going to be able to actually go through and confidently educate and speak about my process here as well. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. Now we want to know our luxury tools. Okay, so we've talked about some of them, but this boils it down into 3 core areas: Kai's tools, LPI tools, and the Forbes Global Properties tools. Okay, so yeah, my connections really like Lolo. Thank you, Michelle. That's exactly right. Exactly. Yeah. Do I think that luxury customers would want a Lolo gift card? They absolutely do. We've heard it from top producers and luxury producers that they actually love it. Now it's up to you to decide how you want to run your business, of course, and if you want to use it, but it's a great, great resource if you so choose. So let's jump into this a little bit further. One of the best luxury tools that we have here for you to start to understand and get familiar with is this luxury presentation from the Kai's company. Okay. It's a PDF right here. It's in your Kai's Connect, and you saw this image earlier. I won't go through the whole thing, but man, if you've been at any of the buyer broker trainings, that buyer guide that we used, this is like the luxury listing presentation version of that. It is just, it's dynamite, so strong. But what's going to matter is that you know what is on the pages and how to kind of navigate through it. So we won't go over it all. But when this comes to your value proposition, there's so much value in here that you can leverage, and you're just going to want to know where things are. This is a great page here. It is page 14 and 15 in the flip book. It's all about the commitment to Florida and our legacy and commitment here. That's going to be important because a luxury client wants to know that you know this market better than anybody else. As we continue here as well, again, 2 great pages that I highlighted in this book. It talks about Forbes. So pages 22 and 23. If you jump in here, you can just simply click right that. 22 and 23. Here you go. You've got 2 pages talking about Forbes Global Properties, their power, their legacy, how we can leverage them, and all the benefits that this customer will receive when working with us because we have this exclusive partnership. So again, we're going quickly here today. We'll have more time in the 2-day certification course, but this is fantastic because this gives them that, wow, you can do this. Wow. With Forbes, that's great. Again, you're empowering yourself to empower them. Luxury presentation continued. You've seen this earlier today, obviously, when it came to kind of that global market research, but that's 2 other great pages right there in our book. Now, Lux Trends, this is shifting gears. So we had the Kai's tools. Now we're in LPI. Lux Trends is another great suite of kind of tools, and it's a product really for you, but it's a co-branded monthly newsletter that you can send to clients. It incorporates stories from luxury portfolios, Lux Trends, which is actually even a customer-facing public site, which is really cool. Goes in and gives articles from Luxury Daily. Talks about, again, not just real estate, but fashion, travel, design, lifestyle, market intelligence. Check this out. The price, complimentary. This is on the Kai's company, right? Like happens to say, it's company paid. You don't have to pay anything. And you can send as many of these out as you want. So Lux Trends, make sure that you're taking the time to get this set up because it's a huge point of value for you. Now, another one, you could probably try to scan the QR code right here, right now. But LPI has created a tremendous amount of essentially marketing and social media templated material that's co-branded that you can utilize. And so you can go in, it's called LPI Social. You can find it obviously on that Lux Exchange site. You could scan the QR code now. You're going to use the code KAIS3975. And when you get in there, it's going to unlock or open up all of that content to you. You can use it all for free as many times as you want. I was going through it yesterday as well. Really great resources, great information. And it's built for you. So when you start to think about your brand that we were talking about earlier and that cohesion and that congruency, it's a great resource. Now, another one, shifting gears over to Forbes Global Properties, it's the brand facts sheet. So this is a great sheet. It's linked in the resource sheet for you as well, but it really helps us, first of all, educate ourselves about the power of Forbes and why did Forbes open up Forbes Global Properties. It doesn't like tell you the history there, but it talks about why this makes so much sense and how it's an invitation only membership and the exclusivity here. And that's what customers are looking for. And then it also gets into other information about the brand, which is fantastic. What's great, you'll see that our marketing team has taken some of these pieces and weaved them into that luxury listing presentation that we were looking at a little bit earlier. So it's just the overlap is fantastic because it's what people want to have that confidence to say, wow, this person really knows what they're talking about. Awesome. Now, as we continue through here, everybody, we are jumping into, let's go here. All right. How to actually connect with the customer. So we've gone over your value, your mindset, everything else, the tools. Now you're ready to actually connect. And you might think, Steve, we're an hour and 35 minutes into this thing, man. I thought we were going to talk about connecting with these luxury customers from minute one. We easily could have, everybody. That would have been a disservice to you. Why? Because if I had just neglected all of the other foundational steps that we needed to take to get here, what would that do for you? Hey, here's how to find these people. Here's how to connect with them. Then it'd be, what do I say? What do I do? I don't feel confident in that. So you'll see, it may not seem super exciting to go over and understand the tools and study, but it's necessary. Because when you do that work, when you actually get to connect with these people, you're going to be hitting home runs because they're going to feel so connected. And wow, I've got confidence in this person. They know what they're talking about. That is our goal here. We want to set you up for success so that first conversation, it's just a home run rather than, hey guys, here's where to connect them. Go ahead and talk about real estate. That might be harder. So yeah, we're an hour plus into this thing. Now it's time to connect. So it's serious because when you've done that work, you'll be prepared. And that's our goal. So first thing I want you to notice is when you connect to these people, it may not actually be like, okay, go and join this specific networking group and do this or that, because they're everywhere, right? Not to say you couldn't find them there, but one of the things that you'll notice with the luxury clientele is they're usually very philanthropic and they have charities typically, and you may meet them at a charitable event, especially coming around the holidays and things. There's a lot of these charitable events that start to kick off. You may meet them there. And I want you to know, and Kai's wants you to know, that we have what's called Kai's Cares, where Kai's Cares will be willing to consider matching funds up to $1,000. So let's say you meet a luxury customer and they're talking about a charity that they really are passionate about. And let's say that you're authentically passionate about that as well. And you want to donate to that charity. You're like, man, I'll put in $500. Talk to Kai's Cares, email Scott Cabrera. You can see his contact information is right here. Or if you forget all that, talk to your manager. They'll get you connected with Scott. But you reach out to Scott and say, Scott, I'm gonna donate $500 to this charity. Steve told us about Kai's Cares and the charitable guidelines. I'd like Kai's to match it, right? And there's an opportunity for that. We want to support you in this because now all of a sudden, let's say, for example, in that case, you're donating $1,000. It just helps build that goodwill. You're doing a great thing for the community. You know, at our core, that's all we care about is caring for others and serving. It's a great way to do it. So as we get into the prospecting, I just want you to remember this, okay? Now, as we continue over here, how do I connect to these people? You can connect to them anywhere, just like any other person. And we're going to kind of talk about these. So the first could be a networking event, right? So in the 2-day certification course, we literally will walk you through county by county. Hey, here's some great places in Palm Beach County connect to this customer, in Broward County connect this, in Dade County connect to this customer. But just think about it at a bare minimum. Find luxury focused networking events and get involved. Whether that's through your Chamber of Commerce, whether that is just Googling them and going there, be in the places where these people are. In a networking event, people are already in the mindset to network, to connect, to share some information. That's great. Don't go in with a deck of note cards, pass them out to everybody. That's going to turn this customer away. It turns most people away, to be honest with you. Focus on service. Know your numbers when you go in. Don't only talk about the numbers. Don't only talk about real estate. Connect, get familiar, get congruent, and then that conversation can naturally happen, right? The second idea here is farming. Of course, we'll go into this much deeper in detail on the 2-day certification, but farming, just the same way with residential. Are you selecting luxury farming areas and what kind of value are you adding to them? But this is a great way to do it. Think of if you were farming a certain location and then you went to network events in that location. I think there could be some overlap where those people who have received some kind of item of value from you are going to meet you in person. That's a great strategy, right? Same thing you guys are doing now in residential that may not be luxury. Third idea here for prospecting connecting is social media, creating content, right? We have a lot of amazing luxury listings. We have beautiful luxury offices. Utilize our offices, film content in the offices, show that you know what you're talking about. Don't just have like a blank wall behind you. Create content that's value providing, showcase and highlight your professionalism. That's all ways that people will find you and connect to you. And one of the last ones, just for the sake of this conversation, is your sphere of influence, right? That's a great way to be connected through your sphere. But somebody right now that you know probably could connect you to 4 or 5 people in this luxury world. But maybe they're not thinking of you right now as that luxury real estate professional. And it's our opportunity, it's not our fault, it's an opportunity to say, okay, I probably do know that one person. Maybe you know 2, 3, maybe you know 10 people that can connect you like this. I need to make sure I'm positioning myself for those conversations. So I'm going to reach out to my sphere of influence. I'm going to go connect to them. The holidays are here. You have so many opportunities to connect and add value in ways that people want. And it's a nice, friendly time to reconnect as well. Make sure you're top of mind. Make sure they know what direction you're going with your business. Make sure they know your focus on this as well. So that way you stay top of mind with your sphere. And if they know those people, maybe now they're thinking of you again, right? Don't leave that stuff dormant. It's really important to be proactive in that. So prospecting, everybody, again, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You may not be cold calling luxury listings, okay? That might upset some people the same way it does now. Maybe you're doing that, but think about where can I go be involved? Think about immersing yourself in this world. So those networking events are fantastic. Think about the local restaurants these people are spending their time at. Think about the places they like to spend their time. We covered that with the client profiles. Be there. Do whatever you can to be there. Connect. Do not leave with a business card. You can have commission breath. People don't want that, and it's really important to connect. Reach back out to your sphere of influence. Stay top of mind with them as well. All right, guys. Now, winning the luxury listing. We've done a lot up to this point. And it's good. And you can see how important it is, especially in this market, to know your stuff. So how the heck do we win the luxury listing? We're going to cover some tools. Great way to do that is this luxury presentation that we've been talking about and referring to. If you have not gotten your hands on one or checked it out, make sure you do that today or set that as a goal for yourself this week. But by the end of Wednesday, you should have gone through this whole thing because this is such gold that you have right now and you can start to utilize today. So Kai's luxury listing presentation on pages 16 and 17, just a great little 2-pager of the numbers. And what's awesome is it shows you know what you're talking about. It breaks it down by the county. You got Broward County numbers here, the city, the address, the price. You've got Miami-Dade, you've got Palm Beach County. And as you continue through this thing, it's stacking that value. Now you're going to create that luxury listing presentation the same way you would for another presentation. It's going to be elevated, but I'm highlighting some key tools and resources you can now kind of bake into that presentation so you're winning these things. Now, another great section here is the LPI, what they call business consultation tools. These are all tools from LPI for your listing presentations. I'm going to show you a tool that I love. And both Forbes and LPI offer this, which is so cool. But there's a few options here, right? This is the tool that is just like amazing. It's called the Lux Introduction Letters. And what this is it's the president of Luxury Portfolio International essentially vouching for you, speaking on your behalf before you get to that listing presentation. Or it could even be when you bring it in printed, you hand it to this person, right? But you can obviously order these things if you wanted to, but they're complimentary right now. You can get them for free, up to 25 of these. So be selective, right? When you're going to that first luxury listing appointment, when you're going to that $10 million luxury listing appointment, have one of these things filled out for you because it's going to be literally the president of Luxury Portfolio International saying and explaining why they believe you would be the perfect choice for the seller to sell their luxury property. People look for that value, but in order to make decisions, people look for external validation. They look for third party confirmation that you are who you say you are and you're legitimate. This does that. Imagine the power here. You can do 25 of these for free every single year. Do 50 of them. You'll have to pay for 25. Who cares? These are huge points of value to you. So just think about this. It's in LPI. The link is on the resource sheet. It's amazing. Another one here is in LPI. It's their listing presentation materials. I'll click into it just really quickly. It's a couple pages, but essentially you're going to want to kind of pick the pages that you want to use. And it's really educating the customers about the power of LPI. And it talks about the members, talks about high net worth individual buyers and how they can reach them. It's a great flip through. I'm going quick here, guys. It's linked in the resource sheet. You go check it out when you get a chance, but utilize these things. Put them into your listing presentations because this is the power. Now, another one here is 2024 statistics. So this is also from LPI, and this is 13 pages. I'm not going to say print out 13 pages, but familiarize yourself. But LPI has done their research, and they've given it to you as well, and it's bringing through the properties, total inventory of 50 plus billion, average price of 3.2 million. This page, and anytime you see a graph like this on the right-hand side, they're strong. Why? Because look at this. This is showing the power of Luxury Portfolio International compared to other brands that this person probably has heard of. Maybe I've even worked with. But it says U.S. home sales, volume shown in billions of dollars. Leading RE, you can see here, $282 billion. The next closest in second place is Keller Williams. Then it goes Coldwell Banker, and it goes down from there. This is not to be negative about competition. This is much more so to say, when you work with me, I have a lot of value that I can provide. Give me one second. It's LinkedIn for you, and we'll make sure to get access to that. Those are the pages I just showed you. So we'll keep rocking and rolling here. So Forbes, two great tools I'm going to introduce you with Forbes. Forbes has, and this is LinkedIn for you, it's got a resource sheet. And this is important for you to study beforehand. You won't bring this necessarily to the listing presentation because it's like a Q&A. It's kind of a role play, but it's FAQs and talking points about Forbes global properties for you, the real estate professional, the agent. And what you'll notice here, question one, you might get this on a listing presentation, right? It says, what makes Forbes brand and your membership in Forbes global properties unique? And look at this, it gives you bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. You're not going to bring this and read it off, but you want to study it, role play it, be comfortable and familiar because you are going to be able to nail these questions, giving confidence. That's what helps win the listings. So it's LinkedIn for you on the resource sheet that I'm going to send out, and I'll send that email out today. Go ahead and click on it, get immersed in this, man. It's awesome. Another one. This is the other one that to me is just like such a strong tool. Forbes Global Properties will also have their president write you a letter of recommendation. Okay, and you'll see here, this is anything that's highlighted will be personalized to you and to your seller. So you can see here, it says, Dear Jose Manuel Rodriguez and Ignacio Martinez. And then it has a nice little paragraph that puts in the Kai's real estate professional here. It then comes down into all this different information. You can personalize this. Imagine, I would say probably pick one, or if you want to, double down, use both. But you get a letter of recommendation from the president of Forbes Global Properties. Do you think a seller is going to be impressed by that? 1,000%. Do you think other agents are able to bring that? No, we have an exclusive deal. That's awesome. You have LPI, presidential letter of recommendation. You're coming in with huge companies, the Kai's company. You got all three of these right here with you. Utilize these resources. In order to get access to this one, email marketing@kais.com and they'll help you personalize it all as well, which is great. But man, it's just such a phenomenal tool. So I want you to be aware of these things. So let's say that you utilize those tools and of course more in order to win the luxury listing. And we'll go further into those tools when we have more time in the 2-day certification program. But now it's time to market this thing to get it sold. Okay. And that might be the biggest fears. Well, what the heck am I going to do once I've got it to market it? Guys, I'm telling you, our marketing team, guys, we've got to give them so much appreciation and respect because they have built out literally a step-by-step checklist of when you win a luxury listing in a certain price point, everything that you can do, free, paid, using Forbes, using LPI. It's just amazing. And you'll see there's 3 images here, right? It says marketing your $1 to $1.9 million luxury listing, marketing your 2 to 6.9, marketing your 7 million plus. And look at this. When we click in it, it's all hyperlinked for you as well. Don't worry. This is in Kai's Connect right now. Underneath the first folder, newest releases, come down to marketing, luxury marketing checklist. Check this out. We're going to click on this one. Let's see if this is step 1. I believe that it is. So you'll see here. Yeah, perfect. So step 1, guys, you have won the listing. It literally, oh, even before you get there, step 1, before or during the listing presentation, you have a Lux introduction letter from Paul Boozma, right? We just talked about that. Here's company paid. And then look here, it's the instructions on what to click and where to go to find it. Core Present CMA. How do you do that? Luxury pitch book. Here's where it is. We were talking about that earlier, right? Photography. When you're actually listing a property, here's what to do. After you list the property, here's what to do. After closing, here's it. Guys, it literally breaks it all out for you. These checklists make it so easy. And then think about this. You're going to probably spend a little different amount with a $8 million property than you would maybe a $2 million property. Things can be different. No worries. Here you go. Marketing your $7 million plus luxury listing. Step 1. Stage 2. Stage 3. It goes into it. It gives you the answers, and they are checklists. You can check these things off and make sure that you're doing it. It's amazing, guys. They have done such a phenomenal job. They make it easy. We want to work as effectively as we can. This is done for you. It's in Kai's Connect. In the resource sheet I'm going to send out as well, it's hyperlinked. Tap into this today. Even if you don't have a listing, start to review it because it's really, really helpful. It will, I promise you, it'll help you take so much of that question, that stress out, and be like, oh, it's right here. Okay, cool. So do that. Leverage that, please. It's going to really, really help you. So again, hats off to our marketing team. Just dynamite. Now, as we also go forward here, we have Forbes brochure. Okay, so this is a really great brochure talking about on page 17 their marketing efforts and what we can do to sell the property and to market the property through Forbes and all they're doing there, which is just awesome. Then as we go through here, we're shifting gears into LPI again. Okay, so LPI, if your property qualifies, it has to be a residential listing of $1 million plus, have to have 5 good photos. They'll syndicate it across a huge amount of websites and platforms for us. And I'll show you those in a second here. But it's important to know this because when your property does qualify, you can leverage these kinds of talking points on your actual listing presentation. And so this is where it goes. So listing syndicates and affiliated websites, it lists them all out for you. Again, it's on their site. We'll go further into this in the 2-day. But it's really, really helpful because that's where people want their properties to be shown. So Madden, it's being shown here, Wall Street Journal, Mansion Global, on Market Watch. It's being shown on Forbes Global Properties. It's being shown throughout all Kai's syndications. That's powerful reach that is unmatched. That's our goal, right? We want to set you up for success. Now, if you wanted to get any kind of like editorial, press releases, things like that, just send an email to pr@luxuryportfolio.com because they will help you with all that. And that's more of their process there. Now, this here, guys, is fantastic as well. The same way that Kai's has done an amazing job breaking down those different checklists for the marketing options and based by price point, LPI has what's called the media kit. And you'll see this in the 2024 media kit. If you're utilizing the Kai's marketing checklist and you're like, I remember Steve talked about a marketing kit or media kit, just come check this out because what this does, LPI, it's 39 pages, but LPI breaks out for you all the opportunities of marketing with them. And so you scroll through this, you can see the syndications. Check this out, guys. Page 4, it breaks out all the advertising opportunities. And there's paid options, there's free options, they're all different kinds of things. But hey, my print ads, what can I do for that with LPI? Here you go, Architectural Digest. It's like a menu, it's like a plug and play. So if you're ever here, again, your concierge will have this, your manager will have this. So if you ever have to go to them, it's very straightforward to kind of see what options you have available to you. So I won't go through it just for the sake of your time, but man, another great tool. Guys, we're almost 2 hours into this thing. I said earlier, you're going to get some resources and some information. You've got a lot of information. Got a lot of information. So put in info in the chat if you think that there's some info that we've covered today that will help you win a luxury listing and brand yourself more effectively. Awesome. I'm seeing info. I saw great info. I appreciate that. It's not my info. Hey, the info of the Kai's company and all of our partners. So love it. Love it. Okay, very cool. So, I said capitalized info with an exclamation mark. Let's go. All right, cool. So now when you actually do have your listing live, and again, we'll go deeper into this on the 2-day certification course, you know that sellers want to know what's happening, right? If the property isn't sold yet, give me the analytics, give me the data, like what's working, what's not. Obviously, data tells a story. So Lux Analytics, that's within an LPI, when your property is there, you'll be able to see where the property's been promoted. It shows literally like countries, regions, different cities, languages, total visits to the property, which is good information. It had a lot more too as it gets deeper down. But it has a lot more because this is what's going to help tell that story of, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, totally understand where things are right now. I want to just provide you with this kind of analysis of the analytics. Keep in mind, it's better to do this proactively. If the property is not selling, and you haven't yet had that price reduction conversation, which may be a very important conversation to have. It's not a bad conversation. Bring data that'll help you support that conversation and that kind of claim that maybe we need to make a price improvement. And here you go. Lux Analytics will help you with all that. Now, as we keep rocking and rolling through this, everybody, how do we get started with LPI and leading RE and kind of all that we're doing? Because we talked about a lot of tools. And again, in the resource sheet, the follow-up, it'll kind of break things out for you, make it more bite-sized. But all you have to do, you come into Kai's Connect, right? You'll just click on your LPI Leading RE tab under Company Cloud, and you'll see this dashboard. In this dashboard, you'll see there's a few things going on. Don't be overwhelmed. In order to find these LPI resources, you just come to Lux Exchange 2.0. That's kind of that behind the scenes that we were looking at earlier. And when you come to Lux Exchange 2.0, what you're going to notice is there's a big dashboard. Okay, and there's really 3 kind of areas to look for. There's the advertising toolbox that you can see here, marketing toolbox, and marketing resources. And what's nice, just to think about it, marketing resources down here, they're free. So there's no cost. You can download them. It's social media templates, etc. The marketing toolbox, it has tools you can purchase, like presentation boxes, letters, gifts. We'll get into all that stuff. We'll have those boxes for the actual courses too, which would be really cool. And then we have the advertising toolbox, which is their store for ads and all of that. So you know that you can come to marketing resources, find a lot of great free resources available to you right there. And you can always reach out to their team, but it's pretty straightforward to find. Here's just another quick thing. Once you're in the marketing resources, here's how to kind of search it and navigate it. It's user friendly. You'll get it once you get in there. And so if we think about it, guys, what we covered so far, I know we've got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to be as respectful of your time as possible. We've gone through and understood ourselves. Then we understood our mindset about real estate and luxury real estate. Then we understood the customer, the markets. Then we understood how to connect with them, our tools. Now we talked about winning the luxury listing, marketing the luxury listing. Now let's say it's sold. How do we generate referrals from this? Because it cannot stop there. The post-service is just as important as any other point of service in this deal. Post-service means, okay, the deal has been closed. How do I keep serving this person? And so here's just a few quick ideas. We dive into a lot more of these in the 2-day course as well. But think about it. Stay connected, continue adding value, hold appreciation events. And so how do we do that? You stay connected by staying top of mind, guys. Not just a phone call, not just a text. Hold appreciation events for these people. Hold like a 1-year anniversary of their home purchase. Hold a brand new home purchase appreciation event. Have fun with it because you've built a connection with these people. They've trusted you. You've done so much for them and with them that now you keep serving them. That's when the business will start to grow. They'll give you that business opportunity because they're going to say, man, you treated me and my family this way. That's exactly how I want my friends to feel, my business colleagues to feel. And this is a different world. This is so important in any business, in any range of industry, obviously, but especially in this luxury standpoint where these people are being solicited, sold stuff all the time. They're paying a lot of money for things. So when they recommend you to someone else and say, I trust this person, they did a phenomenal job, that's pretty much almost sealed the deal. Now you have to go in and obviously close it, but really important. So stay connected and keep generating referrals, keep adding value to them. Another amazing way to do that from Kai's is through kaisdesign.com. If you've never been there, it's in the resource sheet, but you can get an order just sold cards. And what's awesome about Kai's Design, it's an elevated quality. It's an elevated experience. You don't want to send your luxury customers something that feels like this wasn't a $250,000 property. And nothing wrong with properties at that price point by any means, but it's a different feel. It's a different experience. If your experience has been up here the whole time and then a just sold card comes in here, it might have some of that issue of congruency that you talked about. So Kai's Design, man, it will provide beautiful, high quality postcards for just sold. Start to radius mail around the property. You could also use Kai's design, right? And excuse me, at Falkenberg with Kai's design, or either one. But it's a local company. They do a phenomenal job. Uh, Kind of personalizing it, presenting it high quality as well. So great options there. If you've never heard of either of them, there's links in the resource sheet. You can always talk to your concierge, you can always talk to your manager, and we'll be able to help you get that information as well. So everybody, we are coming down to the tail end of our conversation today. And like I said, you're right, Andrea. I see the chat. Referral is the name of the game. That's it. This 2 hour course can easily turn into a 6 or 8 hour course, which is why we have our 2 day certification course, which you can apply for. And obviously it's gonna be a deep dive. It's gonna be fantastic. And some of the resources, everybody, that we covered, just to show we covered a lot of ground here, and you're gonna get all these here. We talked about the $1 million mindset. And here's some of the resources we discussed there, right? The courses, knowing your luxury markets, knowing your luxury inventory. I'm going to give you all of these resources. It'll even look cleaner than this. It'll be on a separate resource for you. Marketing your luxury listings. Then we get into your path to excellence. So here's some steps. And when you get the kind of review of this, I want you to take some action on these steps, because it's great to be motivated for the 2 hours to come to the certification course, do all these things, but you have to realize that we've just started off on this path. And this is your path to excellence. So what we want to do, analyze our sphere of influence. Remember, we talked about that in depth. Review the Kai's quarterly luxury report. Review the Kai's luxury listing presentation. Select a luxury farming area. Begin developing your luxury business plan. Begin networking in the luxury space. Begin attending luxury open houses. Begin attending new development tours. Update your Kai's website. Update your LPI profile, your Forbes Global Properties profile, all of that, right? And again, we covered a lot, but there's things we need to do. So from the Kai standpoint, we're going to start there. Your path to excellence with LPI. I lay out for you kind of what to complete and what to focus on, the different courses that we talked about here, right? And this is going to be really helpful. The different agent resources, I broke that out for you so that way you can see there's points of differentiation resources, agent guide to LPI, LPI to glance. A lot of the information that we talked about today kind of got to kind of go on the surface of. You can go much deeper by checking out these resources. There's a lot of great customer resources within LPI as well. Why LPI, brand brochure, listing presentation, statistics, all of that. So check that stuff out. Then again, from a Forbes standpoint, it might feel like a lot of homework. It's not homework. It's all opportunities to grow, right? But you're going to review that Forbes corporate brochure that we talked about today as well, with the brand facts and all that. Again, our marketing team has taken a lot of that info and put it right into that luxury listing presentation. So you'll see a lot of it there, which is great, why you can utilize that. Also, that presidential recommendation letter, email marketing at kais.com to get a copy of that, to check that out. Obviously, do that when you're ready to send that out to someone that you're going to go on a listing with. Now, again, I've been referring to this. This is a quick kind of preview and overview of our upcoming 2-day certification course. So this is the Kai's Elevated Experience Program, right? And what this means is it's a 2-day certification program. It's going to be held in person in each region. And it's really the main focus is to educate, equip, and elevate you, our associates, by providing you with the tools and strategies needed to consistently succeed in the luxury market, okay? So what's great about this is our conversation today kind of kicks off the excitement. And I'll be coming as well in offices to do this program again. So managers, send me an email if you want this in your office as well, and we can go through that. But this 2-day program, we'll be actually going over how to take what we talked about today in the 2 hours and really expand upon it, dive deeper into the tools, start to actually apply these things, and really put kind of these practices into place. And so we will be sending out invitations to this, and more information will be coming out here shortly, but really excited to see you guys at these as well. And anyways, that is our program. That's how to really build your $1 million business, is to take the steps we covered today. It all starts with you, all starts with yourself, and to actually learn about these things, research your markets, research your platforms, research your tools. Please don't try to memorize them all, because you're just going to stress yourself out for no reason, but take the time necessary to go through it, right? We spent 2 hours. Those 2 hours went by like this. At least for me, they did. So think about the opportunities you have right now to dive deeper into these tools, especially we're in Q4. People are doing what? People are slowing down. People are taking their foot off the gas. We have the opportunity to do the exact opposite of that. And there's no better position than right now with where we are. And so we have the opportunities, we have the resources, we have the expertise. Now it's time to understand, okay, let's put these tools into practice and start to get this thing rolling. So that way, come Q1 of 2025, you're like, man, I'm cooking here, and that's our goal. Okay, so I'm passionate about this because I know you guys are all passionate about it. I can say that because you wouldn't be here right now if you weren't. And so I hope something was helpful here for you today. I hope it was fun. Hope you learned something. You can feel free to put in the chat if you enjoyed the class or not. And again, keep an eye out for more of that information coming soon on the 2-day certification program for the Kai's Elevated Experience program. Thanks, guys, so much. Appreciate you all being here. Have a wonderful week, and we will talk soon. Thanks, everybody.
Recording stopped.